Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming with more Hearts of Iron 4, La Résistance, to start up a new campaign as the nation of Spain. Spain, of course, a very interesting nation now, has been greatly reworked in the latest expansion. We have a new national focus tree, which is truly immense and impressive, and also the Spanish Civil War has been reworked. It is far more involved than before, and can turn into a four-way brawl. Now, we have to decide which faction of the Civil War we'll be playing as pretty early on. I'll go ahead and spoil it right now and say my intention is to go for Anarchist Spain, which I think has the potential to become the most powerful nation in the game, but getting there is going to be very, very difficult. I'll show you more of that in just a little bit. This will be Iron Man because I want to go for the achievement of the Anarchists winning the Civil War. I think the achievement name is, well, I didn't vote for you, which of course is a Monty Python reference, and anytime you have Monty Python involved, I feel compelled to go for it. Also, we're going to turn off the historical AI focuses because I'd like to introduce a new element of randomness into the game. Let's see if we get a communist France or a German Empire or something. Who knows? Could be pretty fun. Let's go ahead and start up a new Iron Man game. Now, off the bat, I'm going to ignore my army because all of this is going to get reshuffled once the Civil War breaks out anyway, so who really cares? Let's go for our standard opening moves of the research speed and of our production and construction tech, still very, very important. For our civilian factories, we're going to construct military factories exclusively in the Catalonia/Aragon region, because I know the anarchists are going to be spawning over here, and I want to give myself as much of an advantage as possible. If we're playing as the nationalists, you want to build your factories over here. The Republicans, build your factories down over here. The Carlists, build your factories right over here. For our military factories, I think we'll focus mostly on infantry equipment since that seems the most important. And let's take a look at some national spirits because we have a lot of penalties at the beginning of the game, which restricts our ability to really game the system. First off, we have Carlism, which is actively reducing the power of our troops and our stability, but it is giving us more support for unaligned. This can kind of work for us because anarchism in this game is considered to be non-aligned, which is a bit controversial in the Paradox community, but I kind of agree with it. Anarchism is not necessarily anarcho-communism, it's kind of its own thing, and because it fits in that none-of-the-above category with the three other ideologies, I think it's appropriate for Paradox to put it under non-aligned. Non-aligned does not mean monarchist, believe it or not. I know it's often used that way, but this is one of the rare exceptions, so I think this is the right choice. So this kind of can work for me. Then we have military disloyalty, where we cannot train units, disband units, or edit unit templates. So no messing with your units and trying to game the system in the Civil War to win outright, which is something you used to be able to do. So smart of Paradox, they thought of that. Then you have political violence, which is preventing me from changing any military ministers or laws, and also reducing our stability. And finally, national strikes, reducing our stability even further, and our construction and factory output by 10%. Basically, we are sitting on the perfect tinderbox for a Spanish Civil War. Let's go ahead and take a look at our options for the national focus tree. As I said, it is immense. But if this looks really overwhelming, don't you worry. Once you choose your side in the Spanish Civil War, you will be pretty much isolated to one column. One of 6 different columns here, which actually means this is very well organized and sensible. So well done, Paradox, on that. I'm very impressed. Now, if we want to go for a right-wing government, we have to start with the Great Spain national focus, which gives us popularity in fascism and non-aligned. You'll then work down a few of these focuses, trying to get as many done as you can before the Spanish Civil War breaks out to give you an advantage. And then once it does, you choose one of 3 different factions. We could unite the Nationalist Front. This is the standard choice, and most of the time, these guys will win the Civil War if the AI is under control. These guys kind of stick with the Axis for the most part, so it's just kind of a standard playthrough as the Axis powers, as a fascist nation. Pretty good for multiplayer, I think, but otherwise, you know, not as abundantly inspired. It's pretty much exactly what we've seen in the base game, just more complex. Then you have the Phalanx Ascendant. Now, this is also a fascist path, but this one does not really go with the Axis. Instead, it ultimately leads to reforming the Spanish Empire under a nationalist government, and you'll be able to fight against the Iberians, against Italy, against the Americas, and try to take over all of your previous Spanish colonies, etc. Very aggressive fascist playstyle, but probably going to be at odds with the Axis because you want to fight Italy. Then if you want to go for a totally different right-wing government, you go for the Carlists. This is a monarchist split-off from the Nationalist Party. These guys want to restore a king, and if you can, you'll be able to eventually unite the throne with France, take that back all over. It will put you at odds with the rest of the Iberians and with the United Kingdom, so the allies will be fighting against you, and then eventually a war of vengeance where you take on the United States. So this could be pretty fun. A very challenging start, I think, as the Carlists. Now, if you want to go for a left-wing government, you want to go for the Popular Front. And then you go for as many of these as you can before the Spanish Civil War breaks out, then you have to choose one of 3 factions, just as before. If you want to go for a democratic playthrough, you go for the maintaining of the Second Republic. This is okay. If you want to go for an allies-based government, then this is what you want to do. I don't usually find that democratic playthroughs are particularly fun because you don't get to be as aggressive, but it could be pretty viable, perhaps really good for a multiplayer campaign. If you want to become communist, then you have a couple of different options. You can either go for a communism government that is under the thumb of the Stalinists, or kind of go your own path. So it's almost like having 2 paths split off into off of the communists here. So it's almost like having 7 paths now that I think about it. Ultimately, though, if you decide to go under Stalin, then you'll be pretty much just a part of Comintern, and you'll do whatever Stalin tells you. If you don't want to do that, then you'll eventually be able to fight the Germans, the Soviets, and pretty much everybody else. France, Portugal, etc. It's Spain against the world. Really rough. And then finally, we have the anarchists, again, as a non-aligned path. These guys are weird. They will automatically sack their stability down to 0, and the entire world will hate them. We'll never really get to be a part of our own faction. However, we will be able to sow the seeds of rebellion and try to spread the anarchist revolution across the world, and eventually, we will be able to attack everyone in the world and gain cores everywhere if we really focus on it. So we have the potential to have hundreds of millions of manpower and absolutely obliterate the world. But again, getting to that point, very, very difficult. All right, so let's go ahead and choose our national focus tree. We will be going for the Popular Front, as you would expect, because I want to go for an anarchist playthrough. Now, there's a few things we need to do before we go too far. Let's go to our national decisions over here. In just a little bit, we're going to see some stuff unlock over here for the Spanish Civil War. I'm actually going to go to a speed 4 because timing is very important here, and I don't want to mess with this too much. We can go ahead and go a little bit faster until we start getting our events, though. So let's just move forward for just a brief little moment, wait until bad things start to happen, and I'll show you some of the new Spanish Civil War mechanics. I won't say that I've got this all down, like, perfectly. I probably don't, but, I mean, we're going to do our darndest. I think you actually have to finish the Popular Front first, which actually is a 35-day national focus, so this is certainly nice. Come on, just need to go a little bit faster. Speed 5 and all that. Alright, well, this is fun. How y'all doing? I've twinged a nerve in my neck just a little bit ago, so I'm in immense amounts of pain. Come on, there we go. Alright, Popular Front is done. Now we're going to go for either securing the Guardia de Asalto or the Guardia Civil. Whatever you call it. I don't really speak Spanish. So we have to choose. Do we want to start the Civil War with either a few very well-trained units, so I think it's, 5 heavily trained 6 infantry battalions, or 10 poorly trained 3 infantry battalions? I'm going to go for the poorly trained because I want to have as many troops able to fight across a wide front line as possible. But our enemies will be getting the 5 highly trained ones, so whichever one we choose, it's still going to result in a bonus for our opponents. Again, waiting for the decisions to pop up. Should be doing that sometime in the near-ish future. There it is, the Spanish election of 1936. Despite a massive election campaign by the Spanish Confederation of Autonomous Rights, it is the left-wing Popular Front formed by the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party and the Republican left, with the aid of anarchists, communists, and trade unionists, which appears to have won the 1936 elections. Illustrating the heavily divided Spanish political landscape, the Popular Front's lead in the popular vote seems to be far more narrow than the comfortable lead in seats would indicate. Whichever new government will be formed under the leadership of President Manuel Azaña in the days and weeks ahead, it will have to deal with an increasingly alienated and hostile political right. Rather than solve the political violence and societal unrest that grips our country, it therefore seems likely that the recent election's results will only serve to exacerbate it. Only through the extinguishing of fascism can Spain survive. Popularity of communism will go up. Now we have a few new options. So this is where the Spanish Civil War gets complicated. So first off, there is a timer going on called a military plot. Right now it is set for 250 days. Once this has ended, the Spanish Civil War will immediately fire. So right now we have 250 days, and that's it. We can delay this with a few of these decisions. We can make concessions to the left, which adds 37 more days to the plot. It also gives me more political power gain, some stability, but reduces our construction, factory, and dockyard output even further, which kind of hurts, but I think I'm willing to accept it. Let's go ahead and pick this up. That adds on more days to the timer. We can also try to reassign disloyal leaders. We can make political arrests. Basically, anytime these become an option, we pretty much want to go for them to buy as much time as possible. In the meantime, though, the nationalists want to fire the civil war as quickly as they can, and they will be using some special preparations like these guys right here, which will speed up the timer a little bit. So we need to be wary of these. Let's see, right here, for example, the Primo de Rivera speech is going to remove 25 days from the military plot. So it's kind of a tug of war as far as who can fire it off. The nationalists usually want to fire it as quickly as they can. The Republicans want to delay as much as they can. That's where concessions to the left is so important, because we need a lot of political power if we want to have a good chance at getting some of these other events. Also, if we want to get down all of our national focuses before the Civil War fires, we have to delay as much as we can. Ideally, we want to disband the army, which should make it easier for us to win against the Nationalist Front going forward. Let's take a look at some other decisions, though. You can see these little icons right here. These are garrisons in the various different regions. And the Nationalists and the Republicans will be competing for the support of the local garrisons, and depending on who owns which territories or which garrisons support which faction will determine the borders at the start of the Nationalist Civil War. Now, right here, it looks like the Nationalists are trying to gain some ground here in Granada. We could spend some political power. I think it is. Is it spending political power? We can try to contest them, basically, and keep control over this region, but I'm not particularly worried about Granada, at least at the beginning. It's most important to me that we continue spending up our political power and delay this as much as we can. I would really, really like to... do we want to just click this and see what happens? Well, we can't right now. We can't actually contest it. What does it require? It doesn't say. I think they gain one influence, and then we have to fight back after that. Or something along those lines. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens here with the Granada garrison. You can see in just a moment that... There we go. Now they have some influence here. We can spend 20 political power to try and swing it back in our direction. But I'm not especially worried about that right now. I definitely do not want them getting influence over Madrid. Very important province for the left-wing government at the start of the Civil War. So ultimately, once they get some power here, we will be spending our political influence to try and swing this back in our direction. But again, we need to make sure that we have enough political power to always be going for concessions to the left whenever possible. That's the only way in heck we are ever going to have enough political power. United Kingdom is revisiting its colonial policy. Ooh, all right, we definitely have a change this time around. That'll be fun. So they're going to get some influence here in the garrison. I think if they ever get all 3 check marks under their control, then it's locked and we can't possibly contest it. Either that or it just gets prohibitively expensive. It's one of the two. Now we can see that they are indeed challenging the influence here, so we're probably going to want to go for this and stop them. But I want to make sure that we can go for concessions to the left first, which fires in 3 days. So we'll worry about that first. Let's go for some more research speed. Obviously, more tech is good. I think the other Spanish nations are going to have whatever tech we do at the start of the war. Let's go for concessions to the left immediately. So we need to be wary of that. We actually spent more political power than I have, so maybe I can't contest here in Madrid for a little bit longer. Yeah, so you can see that the power cost has gone up to 30 now, and they are trying to go for a full control over Madrid. I definitely do not want that. But I'm not sure I can get enough political power to actually challenge that at this point. That is a huge problem. Well, that could be an issue. We are going to have to see what happens there. I mean, maybe he focuses all of his efforts here in Madrid and we can quickly surround it and take it back. I don't know, but this is becoming prohibitively expensive. Let's go for the next national focus tree. So when the Civil War fires, we get extra units. Then we are going to train the national youth, which does increase the popularity of communism and also gives me a few more well-trained infantry battalions at the beginning of the war. Biggest thing to me, honestly, is definitely just delaying this as much as possible. But yeah, losing control here in Madrid is an issue. It certainly looks like when the war fires off, yeah, the nationalists will get control over Madrid. They're also trying to gain some control over Eastern Aragon, which is weird. I wonder if the I wonder if going for an ahistorical AI actually changes what the nationalists are going for. I have no idea. I never tried that before. Huh. Well, again, I need to do more concessions to the left, but they are trying really hard to do this. We're also trying to suppress the strikes and get some factory output and stuff back. Okay, so we can't do any of this right now because national strikes is still going on. We can reassign a disloyal leader, which again will get us some more time. We could also imprison Primo de Riviera, which gets me political power, which I definitely need, some base stability, and slows down the military plot, and prevents him from doing any more speeches to speed things along. So we need to imprison him pretty much as quickly as we can. Basic machine tools are done. Excellent. I think we're going to go ahead and get started with the Doctrine. Now, because I'm going for anarchism, ideally, we will have absurd amounts of manpower. And because of that, I like the idea of the untrained masses just throwing themselves against the meat grinder, so I'm going to go for mass assault just for the heck of it. I don't think it's really the best choice, but it's a fun choice, and sometimes that's all the reason that I need. Sway leader loyalty. Okay, so let's take a look at leaders real quick, because this is actually kind of important. If we go ahead and assign a general, we can see that our generals actually have specific sympathies. So this guy right here, for example, is swayed to the nationalists. Same here. Lots of nationalist guys down here, actually. These guys are... Nope, it looks like pretty much everybody just is serving the nationalists. That's concerning. Well, when the Civil War breaks out, we should find ourselves with some generals that actually are not nationalists. But at the moment, it looks like we're not going to have a lot of leaders, which is highly concerning. Okay. So we can't do any more concessions to the left. Where are you currently trying to fight? Catalonia? I'm not particularly worried about you having one level of influence in Catalonia. I don't like it, but I'm not really thrilled about it. Let's see what he goes for next. Again, we want to contest wherever possible. The influence challenge in the Extremadura garrison over here. Okay. Well, I guess we can try to force some of this back. Would love to try to get Madrid back. Let's currently suppress the national strikes. Yeah, because they suppress the nationalist strikes, it looks like we can't do any more concessions to the left, which might end up being a problem for me. I mean, I still see that there are national strikes going on, but it looks like we can't continue doing this. I would love to reassign some disloyal leaders, but it looks like we can't do that. They're trying to sway leader loyalty. I think once they successfully do that, we're going to be able to get this back here. He's trying to go for a northern garrison and such. I think we want to contest here in Madrid. So can we do that by clicking here? Yes, we can. Right now, reducing nationalist control over the garrison by 1 step. Cost a lot, but that's what we're going for right now. Just trying to reduce their influence and make it easier to take them down. I don't remember if the number of troops that they start with depends on how many loyal garrisons they have, and the stronger it is, the more control they'll have. I don't know, but there we are. It looks like they failed to get control over here for some reason. They've lost control. Nope, never mind. We just didn't have enough political power to actually see what was going on. So never mind. We're actually still fighting over this. Right now, Republican Spain controls 70 divisions at the beginning of the Civil War. Now we can make some more concessions and stuff. I think I want to make concessions first to get more political power regeneration, but then we want to reassign the disloyal leaders. Construction tech is going on right now. What do we want to go for next? Probably should go ahead and grab things like the extra breakthrough. That could certainly be helpful. You can see that the ideology is splitting pretty evenly now between the different factions. That's going to be fun to deal with. Influence challenged by the Países guys up over here. That's fine. Not a big deal at the moment. So far, I'm not feeling especially threatened. I would like to get Madrid back under control. But I also want to do this. Let's see. We are already doing a concessions to the left event. So I should definitely have 30 more political power by the time this is done. So we actually can afford to contest here again. I keep hitting the wrong button. In Madrid. And try to lower their influence by 1 more step. A political assassination is currently underway, which will add on reduce 25 days from the military plot. We could do a political arrest. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm already in the process of doing some of this, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to. Prerequisites. A political assassination has occurred. Yeah, so once he is done with this, we'll be able to make some arrests and slow things down again. We're going to enlarge the weapons cache. At the start of the Civil War, retain 80% of the equipment instead of 50%. So we'll be able to equip our troops better to fight against the nationalists. So he's still trying to go up over here. And it looks like he's going to get Bilbao, but I don't really mind that. That's kind of okay with me, unless I want to contest it right now. But I think I want to be able to do some more concessions and stuff, so we'll let him have more control over here. He's going to have some presence. There's no way around that, but you can see, as he has continued to gain influence, he's now up to 62 divisions at the beginning of the war, not compared to my 53. So the Spanish nationalists are going to be a pretty tough fight for me. Again, I still want to save up some political power to continue working on this. The more time we buy, the better. He's going for Compaquito, which is doing what? Looks like one of the generals is going to gain nationalist sympathies. Okay. Not much we can do about this right now. So we've got concessions to the left. Reassign a disloyal leader. Will give me 37 more days, and Miguel Cabanellas will not be able to assist the nationalists. Or we can try getting Vincent Rojo Luch to join our side. Now, who are these people? Because that could be important. This guy is a 2233 who is currently with the nationalists, so we could stop him from joining. Or who is our other option? Vincent. This guy right here, a 4233. See, I don't like him being a nationalist sympathizer. I would like to have a good offensive general on my side if possible. So maybe I want to go ahead and just secure his loyalty and deny them this general instead. Also, it adds on 37 more days and buys us more time to go for our national focus, which I think is fine. Okay, so we're going to go do that now. He is still getting more influence now in the Sevilla garrison. Okay. Some of these regions are completely under their control, you can see. So all of this right now will start under their control, basically, which is to be expected. I don't think he's going to have very much control in some of these areas, though, so I feel kind of okay. Fighting over Seville might be worth it once he gets some control over here. I mean, splitting him up is definitely advantageous. You know, if he's got some troops, let's say, stuck over here, we can quickly surround and kill him. That works for me. But I want to control at least some of the north. I do not want him having all of this. Because he gets a national focus where he gets a lot of advantages if he does take over the entire north. So we definitely don't want him having that. We've got a little bit of time left. Let's go ahead and try to get some more control in Madrid. The remilitarization of the Rhinelands, leadership purges in the Soviet Union, nothing too surprising over there. So we have to wait until we get some more control over Madrid. We're 129 days away at this point. The political assassination is still going on, but at this point, an assassination has been completed. So will I be able to arrest someone before they continue assassinating all my people? I don't really know. Gonna find out. Got enough political power to go for something else. Where should we do it? Contest control up in the north? I think we're just going to surrender most of the north. I don't necessarily want to spend 40 political power on some of this stuff. I think I want to get more control, let's say, here. And try to split off any troops he spawns down here in the south. He is going for Sevilla, which I don't like. But I think I'm going to accept some of that. There's probably a really solid strategy to go for here. I'm not sure what it is. Let's go for the political arrest and try to stop him from assassinating more people. Or at least buy some more time until we can do anything about it. So he's about to get more control over Sevilla, which means it's going to cost me more, but I'm going to go ahead and fight over it. We've got ourselves at least a little bit of time. Still making a pretty good amount of political power per day because we've made so many concessions to the left. But we only have 112 days left. Now we've enlarged our weapon caches. Now we can go for distributing the arms to the people, which means we'll get 10 more untrained units with 3 infantry battalions. They'll not be very good at fighting, but at least they can hold the line. So this is what I'm going for here. One more with disbanding the army is what I want. To do that, we need 140 more days. Right now, the war fires in 111, so we need to continue fighting against him and add on as many days to the military plot as we can. You really cannot afford to slow this down even a little bit. Let's see. If I fight a little bit more over here, I think... Let's see. We should be able to get enough political power to go for the next level, right? 17 days. Right now I'm making 1.56. That is another 26.52. That might barely be enough. And I mean barely. Let's contest him here, because I do not want him having more control over Catalonia. So we'll try to get this down while it's cheap, before it increases in cost up to 30. Yeah, this is very, very tight. It's very, very tight to get all the way to disbanding the army before the Civil War fires off. But I think so far we're sort of okay. I mean, they have more troops at the start, but I've also got some pretty good focuses going to give me a big advantage as the Republicans. Political arrest is about to add on a bit more time. There we go. Reassign a disloyal leader. Can't make any concessions, so I'm just going to go for something immediately. go ahead and reassign you and add 37 more days onto this. What else should we be contesting right now? Where is he currently going? It doesn't say what he's doing. We don't see him contesting anything at the moment. So let's try to get some more control over Sevilla, I guess. That seems reasonable. So we have 17 days. We're going to add on 37. He's about to take off 25. As long as you continue doing something as soon as it appears, I don't think that they can stop you from getting all the way down the national focus tree. But if you spend all your political influence trying to just control garrisons and ignoring everything else, then I think you're going to be in for a really rough game. Let's see. We want to go for things like the radio for the reinforce rate, certainly. Still working down that mass assault doctrine. It's probably not going to be very good for us at the beginning of the Civil War, but it'll work. It'll work pretty well. Now he's trying to sway another leader over to him. Okay. Not really surprising. We have control over Sevilla. So where else should we go? He's trying to fight me over here again in Catalonia. Let's go ahead and contest him and again push it back down. Don't want him having a lot of control here. Basically, just wherever we see him influencing, we should probably just fight them. Pretty much wherever he wants to do that. Mass Assault Doctrine level 1 is done, which means we get extra reinforce rate and training level is reduced, which is nice. Now we're going to go for the out of supply and the supply grace. Just continue working down that doctrine as much as we can. We could build up a spy agency, and I guess I will go ahead and do that. What do we like? This, I guess. Go ahead. We should continue carrying over the spy agency when the Civil War breaks out. Should. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We can contest a few different places right now, but we're about to finish up with more assigning of a disloyal leader. So let's go for... We could do another political arrest. I could try to make sure that I get some more leaders, though. See, this is cheap, which is tempting, because if I go for this, it means I have more political power to contest with more garrisons, which I like. But if I go for this, I can deny him another general. I'm going to go for the cheap one and just try to get some more garrisons under my control. He is contesting over here in Catalonia again, so let's just go ahead and keep fighting him. Seems fine. I mean, we're getting enough political power. I can start trying to punch into some other regions. Might like some more control up here in the north or something. I don't know. 91 days to go, but we did just finish distributing arms to the people. So now we're going to go for disbanding the army. Reduces the proportion of the army that will side with the nationalist faction of the Civil War from 50% to 20%, and reduces their number of armies in Africa from 5 to 3. The loyalist 80% portion is disbanded, but its equipment is returned to the stockpile. This is huge. Gives you a massive advantage in the Civil War. So it looks like right now we have enough time. Now granted, he's trying to reduce it a bit, but as long as we can make another one of these, I think we will buy enough time. Right now we don't. We need 65 days and we have 61. He's actually about to influence somebody else. This does not... No, this is just the garrison. This is not going to increase the time, so he's going for another political assassination. Yes, we definitely have enough time. We've made it. Okay, that's huge. Where else should we try to influence right now? Let's see. He is going for the Ciudad garrison right here. I guess I'll go ahead and try to contest him. Now, at some point, we might want to let him just get level 1 somewhere else, and I'll get level 1 somewhere else as well. I don't know if we want to trade, but I could also just keep fighting back. I mean, these are all viable options. But right now, the Republicans are starting off with a pretty nice advantage over the Nationalists, so I think we've done well here. We can contest somewhere else. He's not currently contesting anywhere. Where should we contest? Let's contest over... here? Yes. I want to contest over here and build myself as much buffer space when the Anarchists inevitably do fire off. He's once again trying to build up here in the Ciudad garrison. Oh, well. Oh, we needed to assign somebody else. Let's try to win the loyalty of somebody else away from him. I think we have just enough time to make that work. Okay, still looking good. So we're going to get some more control over here in Western Aragon. Worst come to worst, though, once the Anarchists do fire, we'll just take it from him. Okay, he's going to get a level of control over here. Where do we want to fight? I want him to have some influence down in these regions where I can quickly surround him. Hold off and try to get some more control over something like Western Aragon. If he spawns a few troops over here, we just surround him and murder him. Like, no big deal. 33 days to go till the war begins, but we have only 25 days to go before that fires off. Also, we can get an operative. Let's go for... I guess you. You're not especially impressive, but we'll go for it. I know we're out of time for this video, but the Civil War should be firing off pretty soon, and I want to go for it. Let's go ahead and try to influence the Western Aragon garrison again. He's going for even more down here. Honestly, I think I'm okay with this, though, because we should be able to just surround him. He is trying to suppress the strikes again, so we can't continue to do more concessions to the left. But at this point, I think I might just stop doing this and do nothing but contest. Because we have enough time right now to finish this off, and that's all that you want. Once you have finished disbanding the army, you want the war to fire. So I don't want to delay it any further than I already am. Let's contest him again over in Western Aragon. Surround some more of his troops. He's going for level 2 over here. Could go for a political arrest to try and buy more time. I think I don't need to. I think we can just sit back and wait. Maybe this is a good place to end this video. All right, it's a good place to end this video. We're going to go ahead and stop right here. But right now, I think we are in a very commanding position for the Republicans to win. Now, keep in mind, since we are going to be playing as somebody who will inevitably be fighting the Republicans, we don't want the Republicans to win outright. We want them to exhaust themselves against each other, but once I fire as the Anarchists, the Republicans are going to lose a lot of their troops. So we want to crush the Nationalists enough that a wounded Republican Spain will be able to hold them off, but not win outright. Then we swoop in and attack them all while they are weak. That's the weird balancing act you'll be playing if you're going for either the Anarchist or the Carlist faction. Weaken them enough that you can win as a third party. All right, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.